Okay, so SageMaker, not super popular with everyone here right now, as we talked about, but significant, important nonetheless. It's one of the largest AWS AI platforms, so we really just hope that you get some kind of foundational conceptual understanding of what SageMaker is. So we'll be going through essentially parts of the various parts of SageMaker, not all of it because it's so large, but we're going to really emphasize the automation portion of it, right? And as we were discussing last week, after class, so it's not in a recording, what we're also observing here is a shift in trends because this whole AI boom into the mass market, the mainstream market, is fairly recent, in spite of AI having been around for decades at this point. Now, machine learning, somebody in their own words, tell me, define machine learning. George, let's hear from you.
Well, it's just math, right? At the end of the day, just picking up, whatever you feed onto it, and being able to probably provide you the best probability, right? It goes off by probability and provide you that kind of information. And then it's just a trial and error. It'll keep running through and trying to get closer to that aspect, right?
Mhm. Yeah, no, definitely. That is spot on. I really appreciate the simplicity of it as well because it really just jumps straight to the point because it is essentially a guessing machine. It is a probability machine. And it's easy to get overwhelmed by a lot of the jargon and the math around it. But I like how you explained it, George. I think that's the right kind of explanation that you would probably give to, let's say, your junior engineers as a senior engineer or to stakeholders, right? Because stakeholders aren't really going to care so much about these specific core, more, I guess, academic um, foundational knowledge. I also want to ask, George, how, compared to machine learning, how does AI differ?
Well, AI is more like neurology, right? So it kind of has connections, right? So I guess it goes off an angle kind of is kind of like the thing on that end, right? So
Let me ask this. If we're talking about neurology, weren't we talking about neural networks in the
yeah,
context of machine learning last week?
yeah, but I guess I don't know how to differentiate it then, because machine learning to me is more I guess yeah, you know what I mean? Because it does. Yeah, I don't know how then to differentiate it all too well because to me it like artificial intelligence will be more based on that neurology than what machine learning would be. Machine learning will be more of a data set like fed, right?
Mhm. Yeah, I do get where you're getting at, George, because when we think about the AI, or at least AI as we have been experiencing it as consumers, it really is like the neurology, the brain. It's the thinking, it's the language model. It's what translates a lot of these predictions, a lot of this data, these vectors into a language that we can understand and interact with. I like to always use parallels, analogies to try and more easily describe things or remember things, right? And I think I've mentioned this before, but in the context of AI machine learning, I like to think about machine learning when we're focused on like relationships here as really being similar to what the back end portion of a full stack application is, right? And the AI is really more concerned with the front end portion because what we're seeing today with this ongoing evolution of different roles in the market, ML ops engineer, prompt engineers, context engineers, it's a shifting, evolving thing. There really isn't, at least as far as I know, a solid definition that we're all universally agreeing on regarding what a prompt engineer is. But what we are seeing with these trends, I'm really trying to get at, is how there are more and more opportunities for engineers to have a pivotal role in contributing to that user experience by knowing how to build front ends or knowing how to support a front end, knowing how to automate the distribution or the deployment of a front end. And so AI is very similar to the front end of a full stack application. It's what the user interacts with. It's essentially how you, as an engineer, are crafting the user journey. That said, we still do want to cover enough about SageMaker and enough about machine learning in general to understand that portion of the pipeline of the delivery. So let's go back to the lesson.
So
And
machine learning is more like what's under the hood, right? And
mm,
the AI will be more like what you see on your dashboard, like dealing with the dashboard.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. We are on week 13, right? Or is it 12? 13?
17.
17. I'm in the wrong module. All right, thanks. All right, now that we're in the right place. All right, so we are now going to continue doing some XGBoost training. I think you guys did some of this on Tuesday with Eric because you all ran into some versioning differences with how fast and how quickly all of this is evolving. The tools are quickly evolving. Version 3 of SageMaker is out right now, but we are going to limit our scope to version 2. I believe Kim did a bit of reading on it, and she was letting me know the other day that there's really just not a lot of viable features completed in SageMaker version 3 that's relevant to how these labs have been written. So we're sticking with version 2. Now, let's talk a bit about training models. We already understand that training models is essentially working with data and it's preparing capability of the entire AI tool that has to do with that's foundational. That's more foundational, right? And so it's not as tangible really as when you're working with an AI and when you're essentially designing the guardrails around how it should speak or how it might identify certain things, the way that you were when you're working with things like cognition in Module 2. So we are going to essentially be talking a lot about running these algorithms, just like we were before last week. And we want to now expand and move from doing that on your local machine to doing that remotely. Because after all, what good is your tool going to do if it just exists locally? It's limited by that location. No one can access it but you, unless you, for whatever reason, decide to open up your port to everyone else. Good if you, I guess, are hosting your own servers. Not so practical with your laptop. And that itself is a limitation, right? The power, the compute power you have with for this is very limited by the hardware. And that's where cloud providers like AWS really come in handy. They can allow us to run SageMaker on an EC2. We can easily get all of the benefits of an EC2, which includes, scaling up and scaling down when you need less or more resources, scaling horizontally through auto scaling and load balancing. And that is crucial, all the more crucial when you're working in an organization and you are working in a larger context where you are building pipelines that teams, data scientists, whatever other stakeholders are reliant upon to be running day by day. So we will be running through some some Python scripts, very similar to last week, but we're not using Jupyter notebooks. And let's see. Wondering if there's anything in here that we really need to dig into. Cost considerations is always an important thing. Probably not going to be your concern if you land in a large organization, at least not as a junior developer. What we will be doing in the lab is, I think we are still working with a credit card fraud data set, but we'll be installing Kaggle to grab that data set. So that's kind of cool. You get to experience Kaggle a bit. And if you haven't experienced Kaggle yet, which I'd be a little surprised because Chad likes to talk about Kaggle, it's AI and machine learning community. You get access to compute power for free. You get, well, with limits, right? And you get access to data sets, to models. There are competitions. It's pretty cool. You could sign up for free. Check it out if you are curious. Uh, so that's Kaggle. We'll be grabbing some data sets using their CLI. Or actually, no, sorry, not CLI. We'll be using Python to run one of their modules. And then you'll be configuring XGBoost to train that, to create a training job. And then we are going to deploy that model via, well, command line for now. We're not automating any of this quite yet. We're not throwing it into Terraform or GitHub Actions workflow. That's more or less, but it's one step further from your local environment to a remote environment. So that's what we're doing today. Any questions so far? Cool. All right, I'm gonna leave this here. Maybe we'll go back to it. Maybe we'll use it, or we might just end up staying inside of the terminal. Let's talk about what we'll be doing. We'll be preparing. It's like the same data. We'll be preparing data, training the job, deploying. We'll probably step through the first 5 steps or so, and I'm going to make a pull request. I'm going to push some of these resources up to the curriculum repo because if you're really struggling with getting the lesson code to work, or the lab code, I should say, then you'll have those files available. I do encourage you to try to go through the lab as is because that allows you to work through these obstacles on your own, and it allows you to see how you're creating these scripts incrementally as opposed to just copy pasting a whole single file. But let's run through a few of these exercises ourselves. We're gonna focus on environment setup to start off. Like this part is anyone can do, especially right now. So go ahead and open up your terminals, follow along, and set up an environment. I'm just gonna actually make a fresh terminal. And I'm going to go to whatever this directory is called. Okay. And I am going to make a directory. I know it's saying to run AWS get identity. And that's just to help you confirm that you are using the right creds, especially handy to do from time to time if you have multiple accounts on your machine. And I'm going to make a directory called, I don't know, xgboost2. I'm going to go into that directory. If I can type, and I am going to set up some tools. Let's add Kaggle to this list right now so we don't have to install it later. I already have pip alias to pip3, so I'm going to do pip install with uh, Photo3 for AWS, Pandas for number crunching, and SageMaker for deploying the SageMaker. Oh, and Kaggle, right? So let's install that. What do we do for the bucket name? Let's see. It's not letting me do that. I have like all the commands pasted. Okay. Um, what do we definitely want to do here today? We want to. I created a role for you guys, so you don't have to create another role. You can shoot Kim. I'm sorry, I forgot. Kim, were you able to get this to work earlier after you switched to US East 2? Just this one command.
I think so. I think when I got past it, I think I got past it.
Okay, let me toss this into Zoom. Okay, so that's gonna grab the SageMaker execution role. And we are going to, what bucket name? Oh, that's a different terminal. Let me just check what bucket name I was using. Okay, SageMaker lab. And that's going to be the bucket. And next, we want to, right, grab our data set. So this says to use a provided data set. I don't think it's provided. So let's go ahead and do, there we go. Kaggle data sets, download -d for this path. I'm going to copy paste this too as well, actually. And that is, now it's available in my autocomplete. So I'm going to autocomplete that. And then we're going to unzip this zip file. Oh, I should do it in the other terminal. Oh, right. Let me actually activate my environment. Did I? I didn't even create an environment, actually. I forgot to. So I'm going to create an environment. Source VMV. And activate pip install. What are those things? Yep, that's what we want. And then we are going to make our first file, our prepare data script. So while that's reinstalling, let's talk through this. We are loading this data set with in Python, and we want to do a bit of cleanup. Like we XGBoost is going to expect a target in the first column. So assuming the last column is class, then we're, I think, stripping, either stripping or, yeah, well, here we're dropping one of the columns. We're dropping target column. We reorder, and then we split into, let's actually look at this data so it's a little more tangible. It was called, oh, so I need to activate. No, I did activate, and then we want to write the Kaggle thing. Kaggle, datasets, download, unzip. All right, so now we have the CSV file and we can look at it. And let's do ls or cat. Thanks. Cat credit card. That's CSV. Oof, I should have used, what was that, WC to limit this? Whoops. Um, Hopefully this finishes soon. Or I could just interrupt it. So what I want to look at was our headers, and I can't remember how to just grab that first row off the top of my head. So let's just do it this way. Credit card, CSV. Cool. So what we have here is time and then a bunch of different values. I wonder if we can. I wonder if we can read about this. I don't know how useful this is going to be, but Kaggle, datasets, status, and whatever this was called. I already forget. I have really bad short-term memory. Oh, it's not in here, right? I'd search my terminal, but not truncated. So, oof, what is this credit card fraud? This credit card fraud, MLG, ULB. Good thing I pasted that. And credit card fraud. Okay, so I can't look at it because I'm not authenticated, but at least I was able to download it. I don't know what all these columns mean, but because XGBoost expects the format in a particular way, that's what this prepare data script is designed to handle. We are um, grabbing targets in the first column, so that's why we get rid of time. It's not needed by XGBoost. Okay, so we are now going to run this script. And it might take a while, or actually should probably make the file, right? Um, pair data py. I'm wondering if I should use this file or my other one. Let's just give this a shot. Missing my eye for pandas. I don't see any issues. So let's try it out. Okay. I do think this is supposed to happen. So while that's happening, we are gonna let's go through what we'll be doing next. We're gonna use head to grab just like the last three values, or sorry, the first three values of the CSV, these CSVs, and then cool. So it completed, and we can run this. Actually also do an ls just to see what was generated. We have a train.csv and a validation.csv. So last week we talked about, the split, right? You don't want to you don't want to train your model on 100% of the data. So we create both the data that we're going to train it with and then the data that we're going to validate it with. So right, we looked at that. They look good. Or actually, no, we didn't run that. And they look good. They are both just as they should be, no corruption. And now we want to create paths in our S3 bucket. And let's see. Did I store this variable earlier? At least not in I don't think I did, not in this. So, whoops. Not in this environment. And I grabbed the name at some point. That was what? SageMaker Lab. So let's do um, S3 bucket equals SageMaker Lab. I'm going to wrap this in quotes maybe. And then let's go ahead and confirm. Yep, we have it. And now let's try to train and validate against it. Let's actually do this one by one. So let's start with training. All right, I should check the bucket. Who can tell me how to check the bucket to see if this exists through the CLI? I can never remember either. And let's see.
AWS S3 LS.
Okay, let's start there.
That's going to list all the buckets, right?
Yeah, let's see. Let's try the bucket name that we created. So mm, let's see. Oh, lame. Okay. I can't recall off the top of my head, so let's just use the UI.
I put it in the Zoom chat.
Oh, nice.
All you have to do is add the bucket name right after that, and it'll list all the contents.
Oh, right. I
At
was
least,
I was doing that with a variable, but this didn't look right to me.
Try
Because
recursive on the back end side of it. Tech recursive.
okay, cool. Thank you. All right, awesome teamwork. Now that we've confirmed that our files exist, we did the train, we did the validation. We can now let's see, upload that data because we've created the paths. So let's run these. And that shouldn't take too long. Next, we'll be configuring the training job. So again, we'll create a new script. I think if you feel like it, you can try using these cat commands. Cat is short for concatenate. It's going to essentially create a file that combines everything that you're passing in. But I'm just gonna copy paste this because I don't want to wrestle with indentation issues. And something failed. The following arguments are required paths, and that was for. All right, so what am I missing here? Oh, snap. I just realized I didn't pin the version when I was installing, did I? Right. Okay, let's do this. Let's see. What was that cache command? Pip cache purge. And then let's reinstall SageMaker. I don't think this isn't going to solve the, what is it called? The path issue. But I want to do this before I forget again. How do I pin it earlier? Okay. That worked earlier. I'm not hallucinating. Let's see. Oh, they used strings, I think, or quotations. Jesus. Okay. Now we have confirmed that we are using version 2. Where were we at? We need to troubleshoot this issue here. Copying it was telling us, did this get? Wait, no. Yeah, let's let that run. And while that's running, look at this. Where were we? Oh, okay, it's more or less the exact same thing. Oh, maybe that's the difference. Okay, earlier we did. Oh, this doesn't have .csv, but then let me just rerun these. I don't need to do that. Let's see. I'm gonna try copying with this instead. They might still fail. Okay. It didn't get that far last time, right? All right, who wants to take a stab at explaining what happened here? Because it looks like it matches, right? It definitely looks like we have the path and we have the file name. Here, all we're really doing is we're stripping it of the file name. Ah, yeah. Okay. It doesn't make sense to have the file name inside of the path, right? So I don't know why it's in the path there. So we make the paths without the file name, then we pass in the file name afterwards when we're running the copy command. And that's why it succeeded this time. Okay, we can verify the uploads, even though we could see the output here. Let's do that. Or did I already run that? Okay, verified. Now let's do our training job. Let's do train xgboost.py. Okay, here is probably where we're going to be running into a lot of issues because these images might not match our environment right now. Right now, I'm inside of a US East 2, and the image that I'm using is, if it's here, I might have closed it already. I'll grab that. Let's see. I could probably grab it here. That's the config. What am I doing? Yeah, right. I don't want the config. I don't want this either. I don't want the endpoint. I want the actual image. It came from my search earlier. All right, I'm gonna have to grab that URL later on because I don't know where it is right now. So I'll grab that later. And we're gonna go back to the lesson. We are going to create this script, and we did that. We don't see any errors, so we save. Oh, right, that's what we were doing. This is gonna fail. Let's see. Kim shared a message with us, I think, regarding what image to use. Did you send that in Slack? No. Okay, that's not in.
Yeah, I was saying that they could probably use the image from Tuesday.
Okay. Do you remember what region you all were in? Oh, the
I
US
think it,
says right there, US East 1.
yeah, I think everybody was using US East 1.
Okay. I've been doing all of this on US East 2, so I can't do that. Let me just go ahead and grab. Oh, 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 oh. Let's see. Right, I got this handy dandy thing that I hardly use, right? So I am looking for the image XGBoost. It's here somewhere. Oh, let's do this. EKR dot. Yeah, there we go. Cool. So clipboard manager here to save the day. And we want to update our train XGBoost. This doesn't look like the right one. That's the longer one. So let's command click this. And let's change all that. Oh, I'm probably going to want, yeah, I don't want to, shouldn't be cropping all of that out. So let's replace that. Let's replace that. And then let's, fingers crossed, see if this will work. I've already exported these variables, so they should be accessible to the script from this terminal. And let's save and let's CH. I don't think, do I need to CH mod this? Let's try running it without. No, we want the train XG boost. Okay, I did not export my S3 bucket correctly, apparently. Oh, right. It's tripping me out. I thought I did. Export. Man, let's see. Do I need codes? Well, I'll just use codes. Okay. Sanity check. It's probably gonna fail again. I don't. Okay. So the Python interpreter did not have access to my terminal session, but because we exported the variable to our Zesh, the interpreter has access to it. Okay, so that is now set. We're using our bucket. I just ran train XG boost. It didn't fail. So now we want to, I'm going to add the training job input configuration. Okay, so we're essentially configuring on the fly the paths that we had set earlier. And let's toss that inside our script. Train XG boost, save, and then we'll add some output so we know what's going on. And then we could also specify some configuration details, some hyperparameters. Oh man, right. I don't know how much. It's more important than ever to kill your resources before end of class during the SageMaker lessons, because these can really, really, really drive up um, costs, and we don't want to do that. So let's be sure to clean up after ourselves. Let's go ahead and paste that in here. Let's save. Next, we are going to add some training job creations. So this is going to create that training job. We are going to pass in some very basic details, some very boilerplate stuff, but we're also passing in the hyperparameters that we specified earlier, our resource configuration, and all of this should allow us to just run the script and have it do all its magic. So let's grab that. And I think I have a bad tab somewhere. I spotted it before I pasted. That's not. Thought I did. Oh, here it is. Yeah. So let's fix that. And then we're going to add some monitoring logic. So more or less a lot of the same best practices that we've been talking about throughout the cohort, using preset configs, setting up visibility, observability with monitoring, running health checks. So let's add that to the bottom of this, save, And now let's try running again. Oof. Okay, so we're missing operation name. Just blindly copied and pasted, and there's probably all sorts of junk in here. Okay, so this is complaining about what line? 123. Wait, no. Right, all of these regions. Did I not export my region? Losing track of. I probably I didn't export any of these, did I? I don't think I did. Not in this terminal. Did I? All of these are there. So let's again do this. This is tedious. Or then, oh, I do want strings for this actually. Auto, sorry, I said strings. I meant quotation marks. I do want all that, and all this auto closing stuff is killing me here. And okay, this I think is getting close to what we want. Oh wait, no, do we need okay, let's do that. Now let's try running again. And it still failed. Okay, so now I actually have to read my code and see what is going on here. So when calling create training job, okay, so that's coming from a package, I guess. Valid DNS suffix. Oh, and of course, if anyone knows or wants to take a guess, feel free to shout out.
What's your question, Julius?
Just troubleshooting this.
XG boost, raised error, bottle, operation name,
Did
trace back.
I miss that?
Trace back responses, save maker, create
Oh, that's
training
coming
job,
from client.
file, line and API call. API call 93. What's line 93? Responses, SageMaker dot create training job, algorithm training. What are you passing into the line 602?
All of these actually.
Can we print out what you're passing?
Yeah, let's see.
Raise error class part. Hold on. I'm gonna copy this error real quick. Just to see.
Region.dns suffix.
You're using US East 2?
Yeah, I'm using US East 2.
Okay. Utility
Oh,
hyperparameters.
look up at line 6. US East.
Oh, snap. Nice. Good catch. Good catch. All right, let's try that. Cool. All right. Again, more teamwork to save the day. Okay, so this is, wow. It definitely did not take 10 to 30 minutes for me earlier, but I also did some stuff differently. So let's see how long that takes. We could leave that. Where are we at now? So we've added a bunch of logic to the training script. We are running that training script, and this will create the job. Oh, right. So let's go into SageMaker. Or before we do that, let's actually.
You've got another instance of US East 1 in there, Julius, but it seems to not to affect it.
It's
13.
that's a fallback.
Ah,
So it's saying
fallback.
pull the region, or if you don't get one, use whatever is to the right.
Thanks, Nick. Yep.
Yeah. Whereas the one before, like you said, it was not a fallback. That was actually causing an issue.
Mhm.
Nice. Got it.
Cool. Oh, it finished already. Shoot, and it errored out. Repository does not exist or may require Docker login. Womp womp. Okay, let me see what is going on here. Earlier, I was
That's saying the SG boost image is incorrect. Is that
right, but I grabbed it from my clipboard manager, so it should be the one I used earlier that worked, unless I copied multiple ones. How do I do this in this file?
which one did you use?
Yeah, let me do this side by side. So this is the one with the number prefix is what I was doing earlier. And this is what we had just created now. Do I see here?
Oh, can you go back to
Sure.
your role details?
Where at?
Where do you define the role?
Did I not do that? Let's see.
Ah, your image URI. I used a different one from you and it worked.
Oh, really?
Yes, container image varies by region.
Are you also on US East 2?
Yes, I switched over to USEs too.
Okay, cool.
Hold on, which one is the actual file that you're running? The
This
two
one.
dash? Okay,
Mhm.
the one on the left. Okay. And then you have your image URL twi why do you have your image URL twice? 22 line 22 and 27, right? Or no?
Different versions. I don't remember. Oh, right, right, right. I was just like blazing through. For built-in algorithms, blah, blah, blah. Or,
Yeah,
oh,
and so the number at the very front of the URI that I use, I posted it in the chat. That
okay,
one worked for me, and it is different from yours.
okay. So let's try that. I also want to try something else after this too. Let's do this. Let's save and let's run it again. Whatever this was before, now that I'm like reading through it, it's helps read the comments. So this is probably going to fail because that's probably dated, and this would get the account ID and a region. So this is working. And just out of curiosity, I do want to try this too. Might not have had to even change it at all. So that's, or I might have because later on it might not necessarily match what I had already set. Okay, so we run that. Oh, right. We were going to try to look at our job while it was running. So let's see. Let's close that split. Let's go back to this guy here. I must have not. Yeah, this version has just large chunks of copy paste. Oh, I guess I wasn't using a command. I thought I was. Let's see if we get that same output. We might not. That might just be part of this script, and we could use the AWS console to look at our SageMaker job. So let's go to SageMaker. I do not remember where to look for this. Let's see, does the README say?
Are you a fan of Amazon's console?
No, I'm not. But it's
Okay.
not as bad as Google's.
Is Google's really worse?
It's terrible. I just prefer using the command line. Hate juggling windows. It's tedious.
Yeah, I always forget where I clicked and what I clicked versus the command line. It's really easy to go back and see a history of exactly what you did so you can reproduce it.
Yeah, exactly. And with the command line, you could also save shortcuts, you could set up extensions, et cetera, et cetera.
You could save it in a script. That way it's in a file or something like that. Versus I can't remember what I clicked in the Amazon console 5 seconds ago. So
Right. Yeah. Same here. Like I can't even remember what we were looking for. Oh, we were looking for the job. We were trying to confirm the job was running. Okay. Let's see. So we run this, and then while training, okay, it tells us go to SageMaker, go to training jobs. Oh, it finished before we could even get there. Right. Well, it output an artifact for us. Let's just see if we could see a completed job status. Let's just use our trusty Command F. All right, 0 in service. I don't know if it would show us. I'm gonna run this one more time just so it's up and running. I'm gonna use this version this time because we should be able to grab the account ID so we don't have to define it manually. And the region's already being set. So let's save, let's rerun. Oof. And it failed at the exact same spot, so it doesn't like this at all. So it's probably not retrieving a good. Yeah, I guess that doesn't make any sense. Unless we had created the image in our account, this wouldn't do anything.
Yeah, because if you're using your account ID, then you're trying to look for like a file associated with your account, right?
Right,
That's not what we're doing. We're pulling an image from somewhere.
right, exactly. But once we deploy the image, that's a different story. Okay, so let's leave that at that. Let's run through deploying, and then we can maybe revisit this and try again. All right, deploying our model. So let's create another script. Deploy model py. Okay, what are we doing here? We are specifying our model name, XGBoost. We're having some friendly outputs in the console so we know what's going on. And then grab the image. Is this the same? Oh, can't copy. All right, so that we'll need to change. Let's change that to the one that Nick provided that actually worked. And image URI, all this should be good. We are loading the SageMaker library. We are running create model. We are passing in all of the parameters we need to pass in. And then we can add some endpoint configuration. I think I was actually having trouble with this as well. And then add endpoint creation. So let's try it without adding these first. Oh, did it? Right. These we're using cat name blocks. So this might also, okay. It might have failed because of some indentation, some bad copy paste, but it looks good. So let's run it again. Oh man, did I forget to save the job training name?
It
Yeah,
Can you scroll up
sure.
because it outputted it earlier, right?
It did, yes. Yeah, but I was also like making notes earlier and like doing things like,
There we go. Model artifact right there.
cool.
Uh, is that what it needs?
No, I think it needs
Ah,
the
it
job.
needs the XGBoost dash credit card dash whatever the timestamp was, right?
Hmm.
And I think that's yours.
Yeah, okay, cool. Let's see. Yeah, earlier I had outputted it to a variable and I think forgot to do that this time around. So let's export, what is it called? It's like right here too. Why am I blanking on this? What were we just doing?
Wait, we're when you run the script, it asks you for the name of the training job.
Right. Okay, so
And
training job name. I couldn't remember the variable. Okay, so let's do that. Let's run this. Oh, it's still asking me. Lame. All right, let's
yeah, there's an input in the Python script where it's asking you for an input.
right. Okay. And then I'm sure the version I was using earlier probably didn't have that. Or did it? Nope. Okay. Uh, so let's enter that. Let's see. Requested resource not found. Let's see. Seeing where this is.
Did I give you the wrong name?
I don't know. Well, we ran two of them when we saw this one. Let's see. That one succeeded. Yeah, that one was one of the successful ones. All right. Any of you guys get it working locally on your machines? Doesn't like this.
So I got mine to finally work.
Hmm.
I see I see yours ends in 208. I don't know why it XGBoost dash credit card.
Yep, more of this trash, probably. Exact same thing. All right, let's. Whoops, I already had my clipboard. Oh no, still not found.
Oh, so the requested image, the 1.7-1 not found.
Mm,
Remember we changed that to colon latest
right,
somewhere?
right.
So that means maybe it's still hard coded. Yeah, there we go.
There you go. Cool. And then again, did I copy that? Okay, cool. Nice. All right, so the model's been created. Let's see. We didn't do any of this endpoint creation. Um, Should I actually didn't mean to go through. I think I wanted to stop at 5 and let you guys work through the rest, but I guess here we are. Let's just finish
What?
up. Go on.
Why was that so fast? Model XGBoost creative. Python 3 deploy model.py. Mine took a while when I ran the deploy model.py. I think. Hold on. Let me make sure I'm actually looking at the right thing. Python deploy model.py. Give it a thing.
Right, we didn't do the rest of
D-
this though.
I was about to say, did you finish the rest of the script?
No, we just did the
Okay.
first part.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so let's actually run through the rest and let's add the endpoint configuration and then the endpoint creation. Okay, now let's rerun, or maybe let's do a quick scan for any other hard-coded values. Cool. I definitely copied over that, so let's grab that. Actually, let me see. Can you guys even see this? Okay, yeah, you can. You can see the Mackie. Cool. It's okay. Here it is. It's creating. So this might take a while. How long did yours take, Nick?
A little over 2 minutes.
Okay, not too bad.
If each it's a 30-second each time it posts the status creating, right?
Oh, I see that
Fif-
now. Yeah.
50. Yeah, it took about 4 of those, a little over.
Okay, cool. So here we are. We've successfully deployed a model that we trained. Um, the next part is creating some test scripts so you can run through those. We've been here for a little over an hour, so I'm going to have to cut it. And one last thing we'll do before we uh, break out is just run back to that other method that was not working earlier and see if that works again. Okay, so right, we did remember to mention cleanup. So afterwards, delete your endpoint. Uh, and there are some troubleshooting steps. Let me double check the challenge. Kim, have you had a chance to look at the challenge? Or Mike, either of you?
No, I haven't.
Let's see. Let's see how much
No, Julius, I haven't either.
okay. Right. Artifact stored in S3, just like we did. Training job name, S3. Okay, so just outputting the name, deployed endpoint, just like we did right now. I mean, I don't really know if you need a brief report. Let's see. Yeah. When you finish the lab, if you finish in time, run through the challenge, perhaps with another data set, and right, maybe do it a little differently this time. I will make my PR. I'll push it. So there'll be like the alternate code that has some variations, like um, I'm blanking. It has some variations. Okay, cool. Let's go back to that command that we were running earlier. I think it was just this. I think we were just running the training. No, that doesn't make any sense. What were we trying to do earlier? Like now I'm forgetting what we were trying to do earlier. Oh, right. We were running the training to see if it would accept that account ID that it was pulling dynamically now that we've deployed a model. And it doesn't. But it's a different, wait, no, I think it's the same error. Or let me just double check if we had made any changes that I forgot about. Nope. Okay. Makes sense. All right, let's open up breakout rooms. Let's take a break. When you get back, run through the lab or the rest of it if you have been following along. There's a few more steps. There's testing, and then there is the challenge to run through. And then let's meet back here at 9 o'clock. If you haven't done your assessment yet, Slack me and we can go through it.